Hello, everybody. It's Dave Juno, the Meniere's Disease Warrior. How you all doing? I'm doing pretty good for a Saturday, but we're coming up on 11 years. I'm not 11 years with the channel. 11 years of dealing with this vertigo and tinnitus, deafness, Meniere's, this whole rigmarole. Even though it took 3 years for me to get diagnosed, literally been suffering with it since 2014. It's 11 years. It'll be 11 years Christmas Eve. First time in my life I ever experienced that rotational vertigo and the vomiting and the tinnitus and the going deaf. And I was scared. Probably just like how everybody else has been scared. You don't know what's going on with you. And, I remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, it just was that traumatic. It was that traumatic that I remember it like it was yesterday. I got a house full of people. Some people are thinking I'm drunk, and I wasn't. I don't drink. Um, I'm falling all over the place. Nobody would take me to the hospital. I'm begging people to take me to the hospital. One of my sister-in-laws, who's a nurse, was telling me it's a virus, and go lay down and, all this crap. It was just awful. But that was the worst day, Even though there were many more bad days. That was probably the worst. But it took a good, 3 years before I got diagnosed and many, many doctors. My primary care was great. But he knew he didn't know anything about it. So he we knew what was going on, so he referred me to one ENT who told me I was crazy. Didn't even really look at me. Just asking symptoms, and I'm telling him vertigo, tinnitus, blah, 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 blah. And, you're fine. You're not having it now, are you? I'm like, no. Well, you're fine. Get out of here. Fine. I ain't paying. I didn't pay him. I ain't paying you. Screw you. And the second doctor just looked in my ears and said, you're fine. Ran no tests. Nothing. Said, I don't know, blah, 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 but you're fine. You're not having it now. Another one. So finally I get sent to another ENT who does at least one test, an MRI, finds out I have no acoustic tumor, neuroma. Says, oh yeah, it's Meniere's. His bottle Klonopin, enjoy your life. I'm like, what? And like a lot of you, it was hitting a lot. I was getting vertigo at least 4 or 5 times a week, calling out of work sick or working with vertigo. I did a lot of dangerous things. So finally, I got him, I started getting into support groups. Made a friend, Gina Santana, who literally guided me through so much shit. She had already had it for a long time. So she was telling me what to ask and what to say and what to do and what to, how to be, an advocate for myself. And, and it just started by her making these videos in a group and just reached me to the point where I actually reached out to her. First said I'm not a dirty old man, but I've found your videos. They're great. They're helping me through this, that, and the other thing. Just want to thank you, and you're welcome. And as time went on, we became really good friends, and we co-founded groups together, and we've done videos together. We've met each other. Going to meet each other again next year. We're going to see each other again next year because everything should be calm by then. And she just really was, Gina was just such a guide, especially in the beginning. Because, man, I was lost. I was confused. I was depressed. I was drinking again. I was just a flipping mess, until I started listening more intently to her. And, she was the one who told me to get some help, and I did because I listened to her. And things are better. And then I had the labyrinthectomy in 2019 on this side. I had sac decompression surgery this year on this side, which almost 8 months into no vertigo. So that's fantastic. Um, and then, I went through whole kinds of vestibular therapy. Now I've got the cochlear, which is literally now, that's almost 5 months, and it's really starting to clear up again now. Um, and, all that wouldn't have happened, to be honest with you, if I didn't find the support groups. I didn't find Gina. I probably just would have said F it, kept working and drinking and popping pills and all this other crap. But yeah, you got, like Gina used to say all the time, she still says it. You got to be your own advocate. You got to fight. You can't just, it's easy to, lie in your bed or look at a wall or look at television all day and go, I'm done. It's easy to do that. It's harder to fight. And to be honest with you, if you really look at my genre of work that I've done on the YouTube channel, that I've done on this channel, and listen to my story, you literally can see that if you try to do what I do, you're going to have more good days than bad. And you're going to get to be functional. Maybe not do everything you ever wanted to do or what you used to be able to do, but you're going to be functional. And yeah, like I said the other day, I was in the Thursday night Zoom meeting, which I'm going to be co-hosting again. Like I said in that meeting, yeah, I feel fantastic, but not every day is fantastic. Okay, there are bad days. I have a lot of bad days still. Not like they used to be, but they're bad. And I'm not always, happy-go-lucky, la 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 la. I have my doubts and downers myself. And you can ask my wife that, because there's plenty of times that I'm literally sitting on the couch next to her and I'm like, I never imagined being like this when we first got married, when I was a kid. Even after we had kids, I never imagined being like this. And she's always like, well, it's okay. I still love you. You're having good, she kind of reassures me. Like I always say, I'm lucky. Not a lot of people aren't as lucky as I am. But, going on Facebook and in your support groups and just complaining all the time isn't going to get you any better. As a matter of fact, after a while, some people do get sick of hearing it. And I know, because they don't participate in the groups, or when they do, their comments are just, bad, and they shouldn't be. And those guys get removed fast. I don't tolerate it. But you got to do things for yourself. You got to be your own advocate. If your doctor isn't helping you the way you want it to be helped, find another doctor. And I know somebody says, I live out in the pasture, but it's worth it if it means you're going to be functional. If you're going to feel better. You're not going to be cured. There is no cure. If you ever find a doctor that says, I can cure you, or a chiropractor says, I can cure you, click on your own heels and run as fast as you can, because they can't. But you can find ways. And if you're not finding that way with one doctor, go to another one. It's worth it to be able to be somewhat normal again. Like I said, I'll always be deaf on this side. All right? I'll always have hearing loss on this side. There's just nothing I can do. Okay? Yeah, I know. People say, oh, that's what's coming out. Well, it doesn't mean it's going to work either. Even if it passes all these trials, it doesn't mean it's going to work. I'm always going to have a problem. I'm always going to have a problem with balance. I'm always going to have tinnitus. I'm always going to have all these other things. And vertigo probably will come back at some point. But at least for now, I'm able to enjoy myself. On those good days that I have now I can go fish. I can't go do what I used to do, but now I can go fishing. When I had good days before I had this done, I still couldn't go fishing half the time. I still couldn't because the tinnitus would be so awful. All right, but it's not as bad now. Um, that's one thing. The tinnitus kind of went away in the right ear after the sac decompression surgery. I don't know why I didn't ask. Um, but like I was still wobbly before I had that surgery. I still get wobbly, but not as bad. So even those good days that I was having before I had that surgery, I was still wobbly. Still couldn't I could go fishing, but not like I'm doing now. You know, um, back then it was once a week before the surgeries, maybe maybe twice a week. Now it's like, I keep the fishing rod in the car with my little kit. And if I'm going to run an errand, going to do something, or I get an appointment somewhere, I go by a body of water. I look for that safe spot for me to go to. I start fishing. Um, you know, Before I had the surgery, there would have been no way in hell I would have drove from my house in Massachusetts to where my niece lives in Connecticut. It's a 2.5 hour ride to see her wedding. Would have been, nope, not doing it. No, sorry, can't. His gift, blah, 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 blah. I did it. 2.5 hours down, stayed in a hotel, 2.5 hours back, and I was fine. No attacks, no this, no that. But I also used my head. As soon as the music hit, my wife and I were gone. But, yeah, I would have never been able to have done that if I didn't have this surgery. Even if my wife was driving, I wouldn't be able to sit in a car that long. Now I know I can. Do you see what I'm talking about? How things, if you keep fighting, get better. Right? Even I started developing ear infections in this ear. Not in the ear, but around the eardrum. Because I got a hole in my eardrum from a tube that was left in too long instead of going into the eardrum. That's finally cleared up. And now I'm getting it fixed. They're going to knock me out, take my eardrum out, do a graft, fix the hole, pop everything back in. Going to go for my 4th surgery in 12 months. 3 in the ears, 1 for something completely different. That had to do with diabetes and medication. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say where it was, what it was. But if I look at life from 11 years ago, and in that 11, let's say 5-year period, let's say a 5-year, 6-year period, to the last 5 years, night and day. Night and day. And it isn't because of a miracle cure or anything like that. It's because I advocated to want to be better. I'll never be able to go back to work. And that's fine. I'm 60. I'm almost 60, so that's fine. But from 11 years ago, around this time, sick, thinking I'm dying, miserable, to Christmas, to this Christmas, we're looking forward to seeing the grandkids open their presents and going to church and seeing family and whatever happens in New Year's. I'm happy because I found a way. And you can find a way too. I know the video is going up in 15 minutes. I'm going to end it right now. And you can find a way too. So on that note, I will talk to you all later. Have a great day. If I don't make another video before Christmas, Merry Christmas, and I will talk to you soon.